everybody. Diametric Convergence, we are back in the studio. It has been quite some time again. But it's okay because we're still kicking, still rolling, and we're back to give you some more entertainment.
Yeah. It's good to be back, and we're just kind of seeing where the cards lay, and it's you never want to force these type of talks because we like to get in deep, and if you want to get in deep, you can't just do it on any ordinary day. So maybe some people can, but it's a lot of thought goes into this, and we do it for you guys and for us as well. We love it. I love it.
Yep,
Keeps
sure,
me going, and it keeps me remembering that we're all in it together, and that's what we try to spread every time. So it's
yeah,
it's a
man,
fun.
you can't force genius, right? Can't
Nah,
force it.
yeah, and
No, but yeah, you're right though. You mean these things you just can't force them. You got to take them as they come.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why this week we decided to talk about mental wellness and mental soundness, and just taking care of yourself in these wild times. And uh, you know, not only has 2020 been a year of mental instability, but most of my life has been that way. And so I definitely get it. And I've always looked at it, behind the scenes and how people get there. And, anyone famous that I've actually paid attention to, I always try to look at their life and their background and where they came from. Like, for example, Mike Tyson had a wild upbringing, and, come that's exactly what he needed to be the best he could possibly be in fighting. And now he's opened up a world of psychedelics and exploring the mind, and he's going back into fighting and getting in shape and quitting weed, and doing lots of great things and being a role model and for his kids and for many others. And if he can do it, I think anybody can do it. He was hooked on drugs, and he'll admit it. He was hooked on crack and doing all kinds of things, lots of coke, and just off the rails. And one day someone introduced him to DMT, and it totally changed his life.
We're all about that here.
Yeah, not saying that's exactly what you have to do, but sometimes we need a wake up call, and whatever that may be for you or me. It's
Could be different for someone else.
Yeah, and we all go through things differently. We learn things differently, and one thing I've tried to do most of my life is to learn from others and others' mistakes, because if I can learn from that, I won't have to make it myself. And that's what I always try to do. Now, sometimes if you go too far down, then you'll start creating mistakes for yourself. So there's a fine balance, like everything else. And we've all had different things going on, whether it be financial or just maybe not enough help taking care of kids because the schools are closed, or whatever it may be. Relationship, when we're closer to each other, we kind of find out who we really are to a deeper level than maybe some people are comfortable with. And
right on.
And a lot of us don't want to admit that who we are, and where our faults. And I think that's where we start going down these spirals, because we don't really realize what we're doing to create our own reality. And so we just keep this thought process because that's how it's always been and that's how we were told to think. And why would we ever think it could be this other way that may be a lot easier in going with the flow rather than upstream?
Yep. Yeah. Damn. Couldn't have said it better, myself. That was really good. Um, but yeah, just, on to stuff about like mental wellness and, soundness. Yeah. This year's been quite the test for pretty much everybody, which is kind of everybody's daily routines and normalcy being upended at the pretty much drop of a hat almost, because it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden everybody's locking down and all these new rules are in place for being out in public, and it just, you can't go to these places that you went to all the time. You can't go to these shows. And I think especially for me, it's not been a great year mentally. It's been kind of an up and down year, just dealing with different things like anxieties, and not so much my depression, not so much. That's kind of been a little bit out of the picture, I guess. I'm not dealing with it as much as much as the anxiety anyway. It's kind of taken center stage this year anyway.
And what do you want to talk about, like what the anxiety is stemmed from? Do you even have a clue? Or
so yeah, I haven't quite figured it out yet, about as far as where it stems from and what the cause is, or any events like that. But I did start recently going to therapy. Saw a therapist last week, and that was really awesome. Actually, that's my first time I had been to one. Really enjoyed it. I always been really nervous about going to see a therapist, just because the whole situation, talking to a stranger and just kind of telling them all these things. But I did, like, the person that I found, I did a lot of research before going and setting up the appointment and all that kind of stuff. And the person I found, like, it was really, really nice to talk to her, and just kind of really easy to just explain everything that was going on, and didn't really have any problems sharing. So it was a pretty good experience for the first time, I think.
heck yeah, that's great to hear. And sometimes they're hit or miss with me. But if you find a good person, keep working with them, and you'll probably find walls you never knew you had and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I know the first few sessions are just gonna be me talking and kind of unloading, because there's obviously a lot in there to unpack. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to probably dive into and all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good experience for me and really help out, just being able to have that kind of outlet to be able to talk about stuff, and in an environment where I don't have to worry about anything. Because a lot of times I worry about telling people things just because, well, a lot of it is because the anxiety keeps me from doing it, but also because I just, don't want it to come back to me. And that's one of my fears, is always having it brought back up to me or used against me, that kind of stuff. So at least I know in this environment that I don't have to worry about that. So it makes it a lot easier too.
Yeah, and we sometimes we just gotta get over ourselves that we need to talk to people too, and for men, it's never been the like popular thing to do, but
Yeah.
right, but it's for everyone. Like, everyone deals with things, and it's always good to have someone unbiased that you can talk to.
Yes. Unbiased is definitely one of my main,
Yeah.
adjectives and thinking about it. And just, I think that's definitely true too with, men and mental health. Like, it's not acceptable as much with men to be able to be in that kind of, that kind of situation, I guess. I don't know how to really else explain it, but just showing that kind of emotion, I guess,
to receive,
like that.
To show that we need help. Yeah.
Right. And yeah,
be on the receiving side of things,
right. Like, not just, a lot of times it's just people telling you to suck it up or be a man, and it's not really a big deal and stuff like that. So that's always kind of annoying when you actually have real issues, but that you have to, work through and figure out what's going on, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can't just be a man. It doesn't work all the
Well,
time.
and that is being a man, you know? I
Right. Right. Depends on how you feel. Yeah,
Well, some
exactly.
never get help, and that's why we have people doing crazy things, because
Right.
sometimes they never get help, and then all of a sudden they are at their breaking point, and we need to talk to people before they're at their breaking point, so we can, give them some love, and hopefully that will, um, you know, give them hope and love, and hopefully that will be enough to um, keep them moving and hopeful themselves.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's probably, I'm thinking a lot of what causes some of my anxiety is just bottling everything up and not talking about stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely part of it for me. So it's nice to be, like I said, to be able to get that out and have an outlet for it, so it doesn't, so I can actually get rid of it,
Yeah.
not hold on to it.
Yeah. Like one thing I used to do is write a lot and write poetry and these things. But if I went back to look at what I wrote um, way back when, 20 years ago, uh,
Hmm.
it would be like the saddest story you ever heard.
Yeah.
So, so
Yeah, man. I still have a book where I have a lot of my poetry like
yeah,
written in, and it's not cheerful at all. No,
yeah.
it's very, very dark, very, on.
So, it's all about regenerating and transforming throughout your life. We're always changing. We're always hopefully changing for the better, learning, growing, developing new skills, ideas, opening to different ideas, and learning how to work with people at another level where you didn't know when you were younger. And you can really grow from those things. Working as a team and team building, and or as a manager, every skill is different. Being the best you can be on the factory line, and basically like just starting out and just working up to where you want to be. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, and I definitely, in addition to the therapy, I've started doing like yoga, and some meditation, like learning how to do meditation and taking on yoga. Those kind of things have been really nice, just not only for my mental soundness, but also physical well-being as well, because it helps get me some actual exercise, because I work at home and I'm sitting down most of the time. So it's nice to be able to break out of that and do some physical things to take my mind off of stuff, and just to like control breathing and all that. So that's been nice too.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a big part of it too. Just those kind of things where you have to focus more on, not, just I guess just focus on something rather than worry about everything.
Yeah, like giving yourself a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
Something that has been speaking to me lately, and a lot of people have talked to me about it in the massage world. But like just breath work, like you were saying, um, I think there's a lot of power to it, and I'm gonna look into it more. But just getting that oxygen flow, is
Yeah.
probably really great for your body. So,
Yeah.
um, and finding new posture as you're doing it can go a long way.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that. And what Jomar always said, it all starts with the gut. I remember he told me that one time.
Absolutely.
So I've been really trying to change up my diet as well. Partly because of that, partly because my body's the way my body's going, I kind of have to, just because I think we talked about this, but I have some higher levels of things that aren't good, like cholesterol, and lower levels of vitamin D. And apparently vitamin D is a very important
Oh,
nutrient or vitamin to have in your body. Like it does a lot of good for you, just in terms of moods and all that stuff. So
yeah.
that's part of it, but also just for my own well-being
Well,
and getting
Colorado
healthy.
will give that to you for free if you live here.
What, vitamin D?
Yeah, because you get it from the sunlight.
Right.
D3 is what they say. What all the new people tell me.
Right. Well, yeah, D3 is a big one because they. I saw something about them reporting on D3 too with COVID, like helping to mitigate it or lessen the impact of it if you're like pretty good on your vitamin D levels.
Hmm.
I saw that once. I don't know. I haven't seen it again, so who knows if that's actually still a thing. But it's still not a bad idea to have sufficient vitamin D levels in your body at all times.
Yeah, and getting out and breathing outside is like 2 in 1, right?
Yeah.
So it goes a long way, and getting massage can really help um, as an alternative method as well. And just as much self work like exercise, I didn't realize, until later in life how much exercise is uh, related to the brain and stress. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I would just low impact and nothing hard on the joints should be awesome for everyone, right?
Yep. That's one thing I really like about the yoga.
Yeah.
Just it's low impact. It's easy on the body. It's like good for me since I haven't really exercised for a long time. Sitting in an office for a couple years, so it's perfect because it's. I mean, just and it feels like really nice doing it too. Like when you're just stretching out everything. You're some of the harder stuff even's nice, just because you feel like making progress and actually getting some work done on the body. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love stretching at all times, whether it be yoga or other stretches that I've incorporated. I really believe in all of it, and also like Dr. Amen and the SPEC scans that Jomar worked with. I actually looked one of those up, and it was really cool to look at, like how the brain functions, and it was just like
Yeah. What kind of stuff does that
it.
show? Like when someone gets a brain scan, what do they do
Well,
with it?
so it looks like infrared type of lighting, where some of it's
Right.
darker, like bright red, pink, blue, green, uh, and basically you can see like where it's not functioning as well as other parts of your brain, or what it's supposed to function as. So then they try to use like nutrition to heal certain parts of the brain. So they can see like maybe Alzheimer's coming on earlier than before. And they can also see like PTSD and all these, um, CTE. They can kind of measure it. And what really helps is seeing the activity in your brain. It's just like when you break your arm or something, you can see your arm's broke. So your body knows, like, just relax and calm down and do these things and you'll get better. Um, it's but when you see it in the brain, you can say, okay, I'll make sure I take those vitamins every day because it's actually changing the way my brain works. I'll
Mm-hmm.
make sure I take whatever they tell you because you're seeing it actually get better. And with massage, they can feel it get better, but I believe someday we can create something that actually shows people the increased blood flow and increased circulation by massage, and that will show that massage is needed much more than people think, um, depending on who you are and how much you exercise and how fit you are and how your blood flows. So I really believe people need it every day, and
Yeah.
because of the pain level is so high in this country and in the world, and we always wait until it falls apart before we fix it. And why not get in there, not with a knife, but with skilled therapist, and work that out before it becomes a problem. And I really believe in that, and I'm going to continue working towards that goal, however it may come.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see how it works. I mean, I haven't been able to experience it myself just because, it's an expenditure I can't really afford at this point. But it's down the road. I definitely want to make it a priority because I do think it's important just for the normal functioning of a body. I think it's really good just to have that kind of, I guess, multi pronged approach to health and well being. So, and it's also kind of like it's good for like mental health too. I would have to assume, just because you sit there and you get like, I don't know
Oh
how
yeah.
it, I mean, maybe you could explain that more about how it's like the mental part of it.
Well, when blood flows, your body is, getting the nutrients it needs to get, because your nutrients travel in your blood. So if there's blockages in certain parts, which I call knots or trigger points, then that part won't get the nutrients it needs to. So it's going to keep getting deficient. So if we open up those areas, and including the brain, then it can operate much better. So
Right. So that's like from a physiological standpoint, it's like the actual physical
yeah,
functioning of the brain and body. But like, I'm talking like mentally, like the just being in that kind of environment, like, cause you go into most of the massage parlors or spas and stuff like that, they have some kind of ambient music in the background and
okay.
lighting, stuff like that. And just how that contributes to the overall experience.
That's a good point. A lot of people do it for that way. For me, it's always just been that mentally has also been in the massage, like just getting the massage and sighing away the pain and breathing out the pain. And for me, that was very mentally, and mainly because when I started getting massage quite often, I wasn't around anybody. My family wasn't around. I didn't have barely any friends. And so that was kind of my friends too. So mentally, it was helping me. I had work buddies too. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but mentally, it was helping me during the weekends to get out there and meet different people. And some of these people were. He's about 100 years old right now, but uh, so it was kind of some mentors that got into my life for the right reasons, and um, steered me towards doing massage myself, and it it was the best choice of my life, because it led me down so many other avenues, and opened my mind to like what I've always thought, that you can heal within yourself can be done. Uh, we always need help here and there, but we really were born with everything we've needed. Um, yeah.
Right.
So
So for you,
yeah.
what's your approach to mental soundness? What do you do, or where did you start? Like, what's it mean to you? I'm just curious about that.
Well, I kind of just looked some stuff up, and uh, then I looked up the definition, and it made sense. I can't even repeat it right now, but basically, it's just like your mental clarity or your mental wellness now, like the process of your mental wellness. Um, so for me right now, like, since my mom just died, it's been really tough to keep that in order. And like, just keeping life moving has been my main goal. And just also reflecting quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, for me, uh, like my personal soundness has not been like at A+ level means, uh, but I can talk about it because I have been at the pretty far down, and right now I'm not. I'm feeling good, and I love myself, and I'm excited for the future and what I can help. Because my mom died, but uh, what she wanted was me to do great things, and I'm going to continue to strive towards that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You've definitely been or had my fair share of those dark times. I haven't lost anybody quite that close, but obviously it doesn't have to be that brings you into those times. Just kind of living life can bring you there, and other things can happen that way. Like I've definitely felt the dark thoughts
Yeah.
and the not so good stuff, and the clouds have been there quite a bit. Oh well, numerous times throughout my life. I would say my life has been mostly good overall. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can complain about because where I am, I'm relatively healthy and I'm alive and I'm doing okay. I got a job I like, got a family, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Even people who have that kind of stuff are still like able to not be the happiest people on the planet. Like just because you have the stuff that outwardly people would assume makes one person happy doesn't necessarily translate. So there's correlation, it's not causation, all that kind of stuff.
Actually, I've pondered that quite a bit because I always in my head tell myself if I can get these things like you're talking about, then I'll be
Yeah.
fucking awesome, right?
Dude, I'm right there with you on that because that's what I thought for a long time too. But
I know what you're saying. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Saying. Even though I'm not there,
Yeah.
I'm 35 and I've learned a lot. And yeah, it's not about that at all. It's about taking care of you, and that's for me is like, why do I think some people feel sad? Why do you think I feel sad? Why do I think I feel sad? Because I'm not living up to what I've set out to live.
Right.
I know I can do better, and I sit here and don't do better.
Right.
That's where I feel the feelings come from. And
yeah, for sure. When you just feel like you aren't living as well as you can. I think there's still kind of a caution to that as well. I think personally, because at the same time, you definitely want to do well to your own standards, but you want to make sure you're not putting yourself against other people's standards and judging yourself against other people's lives. Like you see people who are younger than us doing like all these things, but like, hey, that's their journey.
Yeah.
We have completely different journeys.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different journey. We're all gonna experience somewhat similar things throughout our lives, but we're going to like situations as far as that goes, but we're going to experience those situations differently because we are different people and it affects people differently. You know what I mean? So that's always try. I don't always like, I try to keep that in mind. Like that's why I think social media can be such a drag and such a harmful thing to mental health because it's just one big, like a huge show off thing for everybody. Like, hey, look at me, look how awesome I am and all these fun things that I'm doing and my money and all these kind of different things that people put on social media. I think it can have a very huge negative impact on other people's mental health and stability because they're seeing these things like, oh, why don't I have this stuff?
Yeah.
What's keeping me from having this stuff? Am I not a good person or do I not deserve these things? So those, when the dark thoughts start coming in, you're comparing yourself to these other people and like you'll start getting down on yourself. Right. So it's very easy to fall into that spiral where you just don't come out very well.
Yeah. And ego's attached to that, right? Like we got to do better than them. And sometimes I feel like they're not even thinking, people are not even thinking that way. They're thinking love, but they're like, well, they're judging someone else, not even knowing them, just looking at them, and maybe they're dressed like a military person, and just assuming that they know nothing about consciousness. We can never assume or judge. We always have to treat everyone like we want to be treated. So uh,
Right.
the bum on the street could have more knowledge than me, and usually does. So we can learn from anyone, and approaching people at that level makes a world of difference when you're working with them, and just in in every aspect of life. Just approaching people with respect.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing I'm huge on.
There
Is
you are.
just
Yeah.
not judging people where they're at in their lives. Like, you don't know where this person is just because of these things you see. Like, what you see is not always what you get. You're only seeing the surface most of the time, especially in social media. You only see like these surfaces.
Yeah.
So you don't really get the whole story. So these people might have like some of these things that you might not think. I don't know. Like, you just need to be cognizant of other people's place in life, like where they are, what they've gone through, and how they got there. Like, you just don't know what kind of day that person's having
Right.
or what they've been going through in any given week. So you just have to be, I think, aware of that and respectful of that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reason I'm still on there, everybody says for business right now. That's not really popping. So uh, due to COVID, but
Yeah.
um, so and also to keep track of family and old friends, which is true for me. Uh, but
Right.
also, I think we need to show the world that there are still people that think for themselves, and not just go down whatever alley. Because personally, I don't follow any celebrities. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's just I think we put too much stock into celebrities. Yeah, make your money, whatever, but I don't think anyone should be worshipped besides Jesus and God, honestly. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah, so
for sure. I mean, yeah, you got the right idea.
yeah, so I just I stay on there so I can just try to be a shining light. Some might say the opposite about me, but that that's all good. Like, because for me, it's not affecting me negatively. I'm not getting mad about things I see on there anymore. All I'm doing is trying to find cool things and learn something every day, and maybe shine, you know, spread some light for someone from day to day. Just shoot someone a message and say, "Have a great day," or I feel it goes a long way. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there that don't have many people to talk to, so that they use that as well. But I do feel what you're saying. Like, it gets crazy. Gets crazy on the phone.
Yeah, it's just I've given up a long time ago about like trying to have a conversation or trying to change somebody's mind with social media.
Well,
Because to me, there's people have two separate personas. They have their in-person persona, then they have their online persona, and they're usually two completely different personas. Like, just completely different, just because of the protections that the internet provides in terms of I can't say that word, but not being anonymous.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
Um, just that kind of affords people that, so they don't really have to really worry about the consequences of what they say or what they do, because there's nobody right there to check them. Right. So usually when you're in person and you say some dumb shit, there's likely to be somebody in your presence who could check you and say, hey, why would you say that? I don't want to hear you. Like, here's some counterpoints, and then you might get
Well,
um
yeah, you're exactly right, dude.
corrected. You look and you feel bad. Like, would you get corrected like that or get proven wrong and stuff like that in person? Like, it feels bad. So
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I feel though, even in person, we're not going to change someone's mind, right? So the only thing we can do is lead by example. So if we're
Right.
just on there leading by example, not we have no intent to change the mind. All we have intent to is to spread love, and that might go a long way.
Yeah.
But
I think that
it,
go back to like that whole spectral scan. You got to see it to believe it, right?
yeah, yeah, right. And if someone else is just spreading love, and not that it's fake, but it's just like how I feel or how one feels. They would rather spread love than hate. They would rather
Right.
talk about love than hate. They would rather, talk good things than bad things. And there's many people out there that are doing the same thing. So uh,
Yep.
keep doing it, and one by one, the example will show.
Yep. It'll grow. I think we just all got to do it as much as possible. I try to do it as much as possible as far as if with even online posts and somebody tries to get in there and we get all negative, I try to just respond with positivity and like, hey, you do what you do, but I don't know, that's not going to make me think any different of you. It's not going to do all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
try to always be that kind of person and not really go down to the lower levels. And as far as like all that, like insulting people and all that never works. It doesn't do any good.
Goes nowhere, right?
No, it just makes it worse.
Right. And when it comes down to it, neither side is ever right. There's always a mixture of my emotions and your emotions, and how we're supposed to feel, and what is right to you, and what we've gone through and what you've gone through. And it's mixed up in this circle, and then it goes to court. And if someone figures out in court, then it's all a mixture of what they've gone through. So who knows who was ever right? I mean, we just have to look at now and say, I love you now, and I wouldn't want my neighbor to be in pain, just like I wouldn't want anyone to be in pain, and no matter where they're from,
Right.
So,
for sure, man.
And that it gets there's a dark side to that, because when you're trying to help so much, you sometimes forget to take care of yourself. And I fell into that trap a few times, with even with massage and different healing modalities and just talking to people. So yeah.
Yep, definitely. And I think that is a good opportunity for us to take a little break here. We're going to go into our music selection this week. It's actually kind of appropriate. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's our fan favorite, Elephants in Mud, Jared, John, and Lynn.
EIM.
EIM, and the song is called Bitch It Ain't Easy, and it's on the album Stairwell. Please enjoy, sit back, relax, and drink some water.
Yeah, here we go.
It ain't easy to take none from none and get one. Give me some of that. Bitch, it ain't easy. You wanna play the game, you gotta pay the price. But I wanna, bitch, it ain't easy to die twice when you're living a life so incredible. The bitch, it ain't easy. Oh, because the blood in my veins remains under my skin till the day that I die. Forgive me for my sins as the world spins, twists and turns, the money burns. I light up the microphone, the people learn. As the rules break, fuck the fake, for God's sake, make a little bit of money, push a little bit away. It's easy to get high, but you know, and it's hard to get straight. I know. Summer that soon will come the fall. Stick by me, baby, and I see you through it all. 'Cause the days are getting shorter, and you cannot sleep at night. Oh, when the morning comes early, and you cannot find the light. So as I watch you sleeping, I cannot help but realize that happiness is hidden somewhere deep inside your eyes. Oh, inside of your eye. Yeah, inside of your eye. Yeah, inside of your eyes. Bitch, it ain't easy to take none from none and get one. Give me some of that. Bitch, it ain't easy. You wanna play the game, you gotta pay the price. But when I bitch, it ain't easy to die twice when you're living a life so incredible. The bitch, it ain't easy. Oh, 'cause my walls are made of plastic and my heart is styrofoam. As you lay here down beside me, I am feeling most alone. Slip me something, feed me sound, just please don't ever slow me down. Push me up towards higher ground, just don't you push me around. Bitch, it ain't easy to take none from none and get one. Give me some of that. Bitch, it ain't easy. You wanna play the game, you gotta pay the price. But when I bitch, it ain't easy to die twice when you're living a lie so incredible. The bitch, it ain't easy. Oh, to live this life, to live this life, to live this life, to live this life, yeah, to live this life, live this life,
Okay, that was awesome. Good track there. Love that song. Very true these days. It sure as heck isn't easy right now. But just like another song, we shall overcome and we'll get through it. But let's get back into what we were doing.
Yeah.
So
It ain't-
talking about and mental health is not easy.
Yeah. No.
As I-
And what are tools? What are some other tools for mental health, Andrew?
Well, some people like to go the pharmaceutical route. I know I am currently on a Zoloft generic drug. I do Zoloft, but also taking allergy medicine. So that's not really related. But it does actually help me feel better most days because otherwise I get like dizzy and that doesn't help. But I'm doing a combination right now of the generic Zoloft and GABA supplements. So that's kind of one thing that helps me kind of dull the anxiety a little bit. In a more immediate fashion. Other things I'm doing are kind of more long-term health goals. Right now I need something that's kind of help me
Immediate.
achieve those goals. Yeah. So that's why I'm doing that kind of stuff. And it's kind of not really working, the Zoloft.
Okay.
Just because I've been taking it like it was working, but I always had this thing with like medicine, always my body adapts to it and it gets to like a tolerance level that doesn't let it work the same way if I take it for too long. So that's kind of one thing that's why I try to stay away from medications, like pharmaceutical medications, as much as possible, just because I don't want to develop any dependencies on them. I want to be able to do it myself.
Yeah, that's what I've come to as well. So you hit my point, only point on it. It help a lot of people. They've helped me in the past. The biggest way, let's say, for instance, Adderall helped me during high school, was to actually teach me how to comprehend, or middle school, whatever it was, teach me how to comprehend what I was reading. And finally that clicked for me. And then I tried to take that with me as I got off Adderall. So that's what I feel we need to try with every medicine, if possible. But I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying that might be a way, that might be an avenue in the future.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not, something I just would never suggest it to people. I think it's important. It can help in certain situations. Yeah. I don't think it should be the go-to, like the default. It should definitely be like a bridge, like a temporary thing to help people get relief. But I do believe the more natural stuff is for long-term mental well-being is the way to go.
Yeah.
Just because my biggest fear is just, the addiction part of it. I don't, like I said, I don't want to have to depend on a substance like that could do more harm than good. I don't want to do that. Luckily, what I've been dealing with right now has very little, if any, side effects. Obviously, we'll see what kind of side effects come from stopping taking it. But right now, like the actual medication doesn't have any side effects that I've noticed. So it's been nice to have that. But I definitely am looking to transition away from it here as soon as I can.
One of the things that helped me was just like the anxiety medicine, even though that's one of the most dangerous ones and hard to get off of for some people. So, but for me, just having it around, many people have said this, where you just keep it in your pocket or whatever, that can take the edge off. Because like everything's not gonna fall down on you right there, because you have a backup plan, so it's all good, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. For me, that was the best solution. Being on something continuously wasn't good for me, personally. But I never did it the way they said. It made me sicker before I could even get to the point where I could feel normal, or whatever the heck they want to say. But I couldn't get to that point. So every time I just felt really sick. And so it wasn't for me. But it did really help with anxiety when I was having serious panic attacks, to have that around.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I had for a little bit. Like I went through a little bit of Xanax, but that's something I definitely don't want to mess around with. I know the dangers of that.
Right.
But it was nice to have it. I don't have it anymore. I took my last pill a few weeks ago. But I use it mostly for sleeping and being able to sleep. Right. And most of the time I just had like the bottle was empty, or almost empty, for a long time, just because I liked having that kind of, like I think I've said this before, is like a security blanket, where I know it's there if I need it, but I don't really have to use it.
Exactly.
So that was kind of more on the mental side, as it can go that way, I think, which is not too bad of a thing. But again, I don't want to depend on that stuff. And I don't think anybody really ever should. Maybe there's people who have to. I don't know. I don't know everything about all this stuff. There might be, but I don't think I don't think that should be the only thing that people rely on. Like, if you have to do a long term, great, but you should also be doing other things that are more natural and more in tune with the body.
Yeah, and conducive to a long life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we all know, like, it's it can go one way or another, and you always have to maintain your sense of being, right? You can't just be floating. Like, you have to maintain your soul and who you are, and always bring it to the table. And I feel like clear, but what creates these feelings? Like, you don't know specifically yourself, But maybe for me, when I was going through those hard times, first, like, I had a friend commit suicide, so that's always really hard.
Yeah.
But it was just like I constantly failed myself. That's what brought on these feelings. I wasn't good enough for this or that. And, looking back at it, I think I was kind of creating a lot of these because I didn't feel I was worthy of those things, worthy of being well. And I've always asked, like, what is feeling good? It's hard. It was always hard to know growing up, like, what is feeling good? Then I got a massage and I figured it out.
Nice.
But yeah.
There's this one thing, I'm trying to find it right now. That's actually has a lot to do with what we're talking about, and people that offer an explanation as to why there's so many issues in terms of depression and anxiety nowadays in the human population. And one of the things I'm trying to find, who this, like, the guy who talked about this.
Yeah.
But the guy there's like this TED talk or something. The guy talks about how one of the reasons, maybe not the entire reason, that a lot of this is happening is because of the tribal nature of humans. So because in the ancient times, the caveman and all that, if you believe in all the evolutionary stuff of caveman and Neanderthals and all that, we humans lived in tribes, and these basically close-knit communities that everybody knew who everybody was, and everybody had like their place.
Right.
The reason that we don't have that, but we don't have that connection anymore. Like we're more disconnected as a species than ever.
Totally.
So there's no grouping, there's no family thing like that, and people are feeling that disconnect. And I'm trying to find this video, and I'll keep looking for it. But I feel like that was a really good point, because I think it's very true.
Well,
that we need that kind of connection with other people.
Joe Rogan was talking about it in one of his podcasts. I think the book's called Tribe or something.
That's one of them, like with Sebastian Younger. But
yeah. So
there's another guy.
I totally agree with that type of philosophy and thinking. It only makes sense. We need to be in closer communities with each other. We need to talk to each other and look at each other in the eyes as we walk by. I live in an apartment complex, and I don't even know my neighbors. Even though I wave to them and say hi, I don't know who they are or what they do. Right. Maybe one of them's a nurse and could save my life one day, and I never would know, because we don't wear our badges on our sleeve all the time. Half the time we don't want people knowing what we do.
Right.
So where's the love?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was just listening to that song the other day. It's pretty powerful. You should check it out. I know y'all have heard it, but just reconvene on that song.
For sure. Yeah. That's a good one too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just think I think it's here. It's a huge shift is happening right now, and there's a lot of energy involved, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's true. More so over the last 8 years, there's been that shift. Sorry, because I think that's a lot of what 2020 or 2012 was about.
Oh yeah.
In terms of not so much the world ending, but just a new beginning.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's because a lot of people, I don't know, I think it was interpreted a certain way for hysterics or for dramatics.
Right.
Oh, the world's gonna end. Oh, blah blah. People have been predicting the end of the world since the world began.
And people make money off that type of talk, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they get, it's entertainment value. People like to see it because it's just like that shock and awe and oh my God.
Scare factor. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do it. There's nobody who's ever been able to successfully predict the end of the world. And the one thing that I've read a lot about what people got wrong as far as the Mayan calendars go is that they don't end, they just start over. Like they're cyclical. There's cycles. Everything's in a cycle. There's not an end to it. It's just like I said, it's something else that's starting.
Exactly.
So I think that's what started. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what happened in 2012 is that shift began kind of in earnest, and we're still we're getting heavy into it.
Yeah, and we're shifting into more of a feminine energy because we've been in masculine for so long. So, the radical opposition makes sense because this energy is so strong. But remember, we need a balance in everything. It's not always right to go wild onto one side. We still need the masculine energy, so don't forget about it when we're full on into the feminine world as far as energetic. And I'm excited for that too, but we need a balance at all times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm always about the balance, man. You know me. I think balance is like one of the keys to life that people have seemed to have forgotten.
It makes a lot of sense. I forget it quite often. I don't balance my checkbook.
I don't think anybody balances their checkbook anymore.
I'm just saying.
I know how to do it, kind of.
Yeah, I don't balance my tires. I mean, come on. I should.
Okay, I found this. Sorry, I brought this up, so I want to go back to it real quick. Right. But I found this TED Talk. Cool. Guy is called Johann Hari. So the last Johann, Johann Hari is his last name.
Cool.
But you can look up like the video I found, and I can share. We'll put a link in the description of this episode. But it's like about a 20-minute TED Talk, and this is what he talks about as far as tribal being like missing from the tribes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to. It's been on my nerves, but I just wanted to get that name out there because I think he has a lot of stuff too as far as that goes.
Nice. Did you see Bosnia and Kosovo signed a deal today?
No.
Yeah. We're talking about Monday, whatever date it is. But yeah, they signed almost like a peace deal.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's been, I think, 20 years or so. So good for them. That's really cool.
Yeah.
They're
awesome.
They're sharing airspace. They're actually honoring the others' diplomas. So that's a beautiful thing. We peace. We need peace.
Yeah, need to continue that trend with a lot of things.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just want to mention that. It'll be a different day when they hear this, but yeah, it's always a good thing when people are talking and trying to work together.
Yep, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I didn't see that. I usually check the news every day. I'll have to look that up later, though, and read more about it because that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, there should be a lot more on it out there. And yeah, so let's maybe we'll just end with a great question. How about that? What do you think, Andrew?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So how do we support others on their journey of self-healing? Specifically, we're talking about mentally. When we are also, kind of stuck ourselves, what do we do to help?
Yeah, it's a good question for sure. because a lot of times when you are stuck, you don't feel like you can help other people. But I think just helping people in the way that they need help, that like personally, like the way a lot of time, and well, see for me, like I like people to I'll not really ask me so much, but I'll come to them most of the time.
Okay. So,
or ask them, like kind of approach them, see if they're, if they can help me maybe, but I don't like really like people coming up to me.
remember that everybody is individual, and you might help someone a different way than someone else. Like for me, I don't
Right.
like sitting here talking to it with all my friends, talking about certain things with every one of my friends. But if I call you talking about it, it's probably pretty serious, right? So not saying that's the best way, but
Yeah. And just knowing that just knowing that you don't know, I guess.
Right.
You know that you don't know what that person is dealing with. They could be dealing with some pretty heavy shit. And
yeah,
that's that might play a lot of into how they behave and how they're acting.
yeah,
But just just be kind to people, man. Just there, you never know, like when just a simple act of kindness could completely change someone's day.
absolutely, man.
And just know that everybody, to an extent, probably, I would have to say, I don't know if you would agree with this, not deals with some form of mental, health issues.
Oh yeah,
In some form or fashion. It's lesser, maybe not as severe for some people as others, but to a degree, everybody deals with it. And I think just we can all help each other too, in terms of putting more importance on mental health and treating it just as it's just as important as physical health.
yeah, because it's physical health,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
in a way, and we just got to do mental push-ups, right?
Yep.
Keep doing yoga with our mind, and we'll open up different parts of our mind that we never thought was possible. I promise. We have to think outside of the outside box.
Yeah,
and that's where
I need to work to destigmatize the term mental illness.
Yeah,
so people here you try to talk about having a mental illness, people think you're crazy. It's like, that's not how it works.
Or it's forever, or these type of things, but it's more imbalance, right? My mom said often chemical imbalance, and that's a good way to think about it, because it is. You're not getting the chemicals needed to do the right things in your brain.
Sure. And you're imbalanced, but just like a physical illness, your body is imbalanced too, because it's not like this, like inner workings aren't doing what they're doing, or you're being attacked by actual things.
Like when your foot is hurt, you're off balance.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very similar to your brain when you're not getting the nutrients and these things.
Right. But if someone says like, "Oh, I feel physically ill," like, "Oh, you need to go to the bathroom, are you going to be okay?" Like, you just start automatically trying to figure out what's wrong with them. Right. You go up to someone and say, "Oh, I'm feeling kind of mentally ill right now, dude." Like, they'll be like,
"Come on, bro.
Dude, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you going to freak out? You're going to go crazy?"
Yeah, so you're right.
You're fine. Just a little bit of sad. You just need to get out and be happy. Like, it's like, I understand happiness is mostly a choice, but sometimes you're not physically, or you're not mentally capable of making that choice.
You're so right. And that's where like the free hug person, even though we're in a time where that's not cool.
Weirdly.
But the free hug person, I give them props, because they understand that, and they're just out there like, "Hey brother, I don't know where you're at, but do you need a hug?"
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's dope, man. I love that too.
And that's what my three things to this question are just what that person out there with the free hug shirt is doing, is providing hope and giving love. And then one more thing would be refraining from hate. Stay away from hate. If people try to get you to hate, don't let them. Say, "Hey, bro, I'm not trying to hate today."
Yeah. So, or ever again. Definitely. Yeah, and I would say just one more part of that, just share. I think sharing and not being afraid to share about mental illness and mental health is a big thing you can do to help other people, because just knowing you're not alone is a big help too.
Yeah.
So sharing as much as you want to in terms of what you've dealt with and how you've dealt with it is always going to help at least one person who will hear it or see it and then be like, oh, I'm not the only one. And that'll go a very long way.
The more you open up, the more you get.
Yeah.
Right? The more you put in, the more you get. So how much
Yep.
do you want to heal today? And what I found in a lot of my life is that I didn't want to heal. I wanted to stay fucked up.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
It is. But I didn't think I
yeah.
deserved it. Technically.
Right.
And I've learned now that we all deserve to not be fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And some people think fucked up's a good thing.
I hope not. I hope not. Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. Just I don't want to think that way.
No, I got you. Well,
yeah, you're right. Some people do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but that's what we're trying to do with what we're doing, is showing people that love is a much better option, much better choice.
Feels better, at least.
Feels way better, I think.
Yeah, it's a better path.
Yeah, hey, it can feel good. Not get me wrong. I'm sure it can, but the way love can feel is way better.
Yeah,
way better. Because it's just better. So I can say.
How does hate feel good? Let's get into that real quick.
How does it feel good?
Yeah. In the short term, right?
It's visceral. Yeah, it's a visceral thing. Like you just let out some of your frustrations and your anger, because everybody gets angry.
Right.
But if you
if we channel it through at that person, then they feel bad, and then you feel bad, and then you all feel bad, and then we're all worse.
It's like a real brief thing, absolutely brief. Right. But once you get up past it, I mean, it's temporary relief, but then it just feels worse on the back end. Whereas love, it's good all the way through, because then that other person feels good, so you feel better.
And when you're sitting home, even if they said fuck you, man, even if they said that to you, you're sitting at home and you're thinking, why did I say fuck you, motherfucker, back, when I can just be the bigger man and not say anything and smile? And sitting at home thinking, I did that right.
Take all their power. You take all their power by not reacting to that kind of stuff.
And I've been on both shoes. Trust me. That's how I know. It doesn't feel good to be on the mean side.
No, it doesn't. Not
at home.
Not in a good way.
Bad words. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on what I can change, and that is me.
Yeah.
And I love y'all, but if I don't focus on me, I won't be good for anyone.
Yep. And there has definitely been studies that I said this a little bit earlier about happiness as a choice. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, it's a choice of thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I think I'm asking that because I have to find that article too about people being happy like more often than not because they actually believe you can. Now, they believe you choose to, so they are happier.
Now you can be dealt a bad hand, but eventually you'll work towards getting out of that.
Yeah.
You just have to make the steps, write it down. You can do it. It's possible. You can get out of anywhere you want to be. You have to want to, and don't be like me and just want to be fucked up. It's not a good path.
Yeah. Don't be like Brandon back then
anymore. I definitely don't feel that way anymore. But it took me about 30 years to get there. So, but
as long as you got there, man, that's what matters.
I
it's all journey. So you learn a whole lot along the way.
Oh yeah, and I knew it was going to be that type of path when I loaded up your car with my broken ass shit.
Yep, everything you opened into that car, huh?
I mean, we left my hockey stick.
Well, not everything, because some of it was stuck in that stupid fucking Effingham.
But yeah, man, we all grow, and I'm happy to be still thriving in Colorado. And I have to think about the brighter days when I think about my mom.
Yep.
But I know she's out there like my biggest cheerleader. So I just have more on my side, more love,
Yep, for sure, man.
Do great things, and I'm going to keep focused on that.
Yep. One thing I like to keep in mind is they're still relatively young. We've still got plenty of time to be great.
Oh, yeah.
So
I know that. I think, the 40 is the new 60. I mean, the other way around. 60 is the new 40. Or something like that.
yeah.
Long road to travel, right? And
still got a long ways to go. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. Got a long ways to go. Still, that's what I said. Like plenty of life in front of us, and it's good to be where we are with what age we're at. I think I got a lot of stuff to offer. I think I feel like I'm heading in a good direction now, getting things together, understanding a lot more than what I have, but that's, what you try to do every year. Try to hope that you understand a little bit more the current year than you did before.
Yeah.
And
be the better you, right?
Yep. But I feel like a lot of the information we have out now, it's really helpful. So, do what you can with the information we have available, and just, try to be good people.
And I tell this to a lot of people when they're down in the dumps, but I think it's appropriate here. It's just find something you love to do, and eventually you're going to make money doing it because you're going to become great at it, and you'll really never have to work if you're just doing what you love to do at all times and doing your best and making sure you do a good job, and something's good is going to come out of it. So so I always say, just write down things you like to do, and don't think about how you're going to make money, but get really good at that, and then that will come later, right?
Absolutely. I think just do it, stick with it,
and try.
Best advice I can give is just do it, just stick with it.
If, like my mom, she always had hope that I would do great things one day, right? Well, if no one has anyone like that in their life, like my mom, I feel I have faith and hope that all the people listening will do great things in their life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So whoever needs to hear it, you are in our thoughts, and we are with you. Anybody who's out there struggling, like, we are there with you. We love you. If you ever want to reach out to us to talk, we are here. Even if you don't know who we are in real life, just if you need somebody, you don't trust anybody else, we're here. So I always want to extend that kind of offer to people who need it. I'm always up for listening. I know that people need that sounding board, and so just know there are people out there who are on your side, who are there with you.
And you can reach us on Twitter, Diametric Convergence, or Facebook and Gmail, I believe. I try to check it every now and then, but if I don't see it, just send another message or reach out another platform. But
Facebook is good too.
Yep, we'll stay in touch as best we can. We love you guys. We love you all. Stay beautiful as a motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly that. And we will be back again. Some more episodes coming. We're just getting our groove back. So watch out. We're coming back and we're going to be better than ever.